welcome back to our channel. One dime might be the start of your next big financial move. The year is 1983. It's a time when the world is shifting in many ways. The US is in the midst of recovering from a recession, the digital age is starting to take shape, and the world of coinage is also undergoing some important changes. Amid all the excitement, economic shifts, and technological advances, a seemingly humble coin is making its way into circulation, the 1983 US 1 dime. Little did anyone know back then, that this coin would one day become a key piece of the fascinating world of numismatics. When most people think of US coins, they likely picture the iconic quarters, the pennies they find in their pocket, or even those rare silver dollars that get passed down through generations. But tucked away in the vast ocean of American currency is the humble dime, a coin with a story all its own. The 1983 US dime is no exception. So, what makes the 1983 dime stand out? How did a coin that many people use without a second thought end up being so valuable in the world of coin collectors? Well, let's start by taking a look at the historical context that sets the stage for the coin's creation. The 1980s were an era of transformation. President Ronald Reagan had just taken office, ushering in a wave of optimism and new economic policies. But beyond the political changes, the 1980s were marked by a cultural revolution. From the rise of personal computers to the explosion of pop culture icons, the decade was on the cusp of something big. In the midst of this, the US Mint was still producing coins in the traditional way, adhering to designs that had been in place for decades. The design of the US dime, of course, had not changed since 1946 when Franklin D. Roosevelt's portrait was introduced. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States, had served through the Great Depression and most of World War II. His passing in 1945 left a mark on the nation, and in 1946, to honor his legacy, the US Mint decided to feature his image on the dime. For nearly 40 years, Roosevelt's likeness remained a steadfast part of American currency. The 1983 dime, like its predecessors, carried his portrait on the obverse side of the coin. The design was created by John R. Sinek, the chief engraver at the US Mint, and it has remained one of the most recognizable images in the history of American numismatics. But there's more to the 1983 dime than just its design. To understand why this coin has become so valuable, we need to dive into its minting process and the unique features that set it apart from other dimes in circulation. The 1983 dime was struck at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. The minting process for the dime, like other coins, involved a carefully orchestrated production line, where blank metal discs, called planchets, were fed into presses that struck the design onto both sides of the coin. The production of these dimes, however, would prove to be an interesting moment in the history of coinage. For the most part, the 1983 dimes were produced without any significant problems. However, there is one very particular aspect of this year's dimes that would make them stand out in the world of coin collectors, particularly the Philadelphia Mint's production of the 1983 dimes. For a brief period during 1983, the US Mint was facing a significant shortage of copper. The metal was required to produce both pennies and dimes, and the rising cost of copper was putting a strain on the Mint's budget. As a result, the Mint began experimenting with different metal alloys, looking for a more cost-effective solution. This resulted in a fascinating change in the metal composition of the 1983 dimes. Normally, US dimes are made with a composition of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel. However, in 1983, the Philadelphia Mint struck a small number of dimes using a different alloy, copper-plated zinc. This alloy was cheaper and more readily available at the time, and it helped alleviate some of the financial pressure on the Mint. While the change was not widespread, it was significant enough to cause a stir in the numismatic world. The copper-plated zinc dimes, often referred to as 1983 copper dimes, are extremely rare and have become highly sought after by collectors. These dimes stand out due to their distinct metallic composition, and they have become the centerpiece of many coin collections. The fact that these coins were struck in such limited quantities adds to their mystique and value. When people think of rare coins, they often envision gold, silver, or even coins with significant historical errors. But the 1983 copper-plated zinc dime is a perfect example of how something as simple as a change in metal composition can make a coin much more valuable. These rare pieces are proof that even seemingly small variations can lead to great rewards for collectors who are willing to search them out. but it's not just the rare copper-plated zinc version of the 1983 dime that holds value in the numismatic world. Even the standard 1983 dimes, made from the usual copper-nickel alloy, can be worth more than their face value when they are found in exceptional condition. Coins that are well preserved, free of scratches, discoloration, or any signs of wear, are often referred to as mint state coins. These coins retain their original shine and detail, and they are much more desirable to collectors who are looking for the best examples of a particular coin. Mint state 1983 dimes can be worth a significant premium compared to those that are heavily circulated. However, it's the era coins, specifically the copper-plated zinc dimes, that command the highest prices in the market. These coins are exceedingly rare, and when one does come up for sale, collectors are often willing to pay a premium to add them to their collections. But how much can you expect to pay for one of these rare 1983 copper dimes? Well, the value of a 1983 copper-plated zinc dime has skyrocketed in recent years. At an auction or in private sales, these rare coins can fetch amounts that would shock most casual observers. The 1983 copper-plated zinc dime can sell for as much as $140,000, depending on its condition and provenance. That's right, $140,000 for a coin that was originally worth only 10 cents. This astonishing price tag highlights just how valuable rare coins can become when they carry unique features, such as a variation in metal composition or an error that makes them stand out from the thousands of other coins produced in a given year. For the collector who is able to find one of these rare 1983 copper dimes in exceptional condition, the rewards can be enormous. So, how does this all tie back to you, the viewer? The next time you come across a 1983 dime, it's worth taking a closer look. While most of these coins are probably worth no more than their face value, you could very well be holding a rare treasure in your hands. Whether it's a mint state coin in perfect condition or, better yet, a copper-plated zinc dime with its unique alloy composition, you might just be sitting on a valuable piece of history. In the world of numismatics, it's the smallest details, the ones that might seem insignificant at first, that can make all the difference. The 1983 US dime serves as a reminder that, sometimes, the coins we overlook can hold incredible value. A change in metal composition, a few years of history, and a little bit of luck could turn that dime in your pocket into a small fortune. So, what's the takeaway here? Keep an eye on your change, because you never know when you might come across a coin that could change your life, or at least make a very nice addition to your collection. Whether you're just getting started in the world of coin collecting or you're a seasoned expert, the 1983 dime is a perfect example of how a simple piece of currency can hold a story, a history, and a surprising value. The next time you find yourself holding a dime, take a moment to appreciate it. It could be worth a lot more than you think. And, who knows? Maybe that dime in your hand will be the next coin to make its way to the auction block, fetching an impressive $140,000. Imagine, for a moment, that it's the year 1988. The world is a very different place compared to today. We're in the midst of the 80s, a time of bold fashion choices, iconic music, and major technological shifts. The world of coinage, though often overlooked in the grand scheme of things, is quietly evolving and making its mark on history. In the United States, 1988 marked a year of transition. President Ronald Reagan was in office, and the country was experiencing a period of growth and optimism after the economic turbulence of the 70s and early 80s. People were feeling the effects of economic recovery, and the stock market was experiencing one of its many ups and downs. It was a year of change, but also one of stability in many ways. However, in the world of coins, 1988 would quietly give rise to a little treasure that would later captivate collectors in ways nobody could have predicted. Let's take a step back and talk about the US dime. The dime, a small coin worth 10 cents, has been a fixture of American currency since 1796. Over the years, it's gone through various design changes, but one thing has remained constant: it's a symbol of the country's economy and history. In 1946, the U.S. Mint decided to honor the passing of President Franklin D. Roosevelt by featuring his image on the dime. The portrait of Roosevelt has been a part of the dime ever since, becoming one of the most recognizable symbols in American coinage. By the time we reach 1988, Roosevelt's image is still proudly displayed on the obverse, or front, of the coin. The reverse, or back, of the dime features a simple yet iconic design: a torch, an olive branch, and an oak branch, symbolizing freedom, peace, and strength, respectively. This design, created by artist John R. Sinek, had been part of the dime since 1946 and remains one of the most enduring and recognizable representations of American values, but it's not just about the design. Let's take a closer look at how these dimes were actually produced in 1988. The production process for dimes at the U.S. Mint involves striking a metal planchet with the coin's design. The dime, like many other coins, is composed of a copper-nickel alloy, which gives it its characteristic color and durability. In 1988, millions of these coins were produced, with the majority being minted at the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Now, the minting process is often something that most of us never think about when we use a coin. We toss it into our pockets, spend it on our morning coffee, and forget about it. But for collectors, it's the very process of minting that can turn an ordinary coin into something much more valuable. So, what makes the 1988 dime so special? Here's where the story gets interesting. In the world of coin collecting, one of the key factors that determines a coin's value is its condition. When a coin is newly minted, it's in mint state, meaning it has been freshly struck and is free of any major wear and tear. But as a coin circulates, it inevitably picks up scratches, dings, and other signs of wear. The more pristine the coin, the more valuable it is to collectors, but the 1988 dime has another interesting characteristic that sets it apart. Some of the coins produced that year were struck in an unusual way. While the U.S. Mint generally strives to produce coins with high precision, occasional errors do slip through the cracks. And when those errors occur, they can sometimes turn an otherwise ordinary coin into a valuable rarity. One of the key features that collectors look for in the 1988 dime is the presence of specific minting errors. These errors, often small and subtle, can make a coin significantly more valuable. One of the most common errors in 1988 dimes is a double die strike, where the design of the coin appears to be doubled. This occurs when the coin is struck twice by the die, leaving a faint shadow of the design on top of the original one. Double dies are rare, and their presence can make a coin highly sought after by collectors, but that's not the only error that collectors look for. Another error that has been found in some 1988 dimes is a misstrike, where the coin is struck off-center. This error occurs when the planchet is not properly aligned with the die, resulting in a coin that is slightly off-center. Misstruck coins are also highly prized by collectors because they are unusual and not something you see every day. It's these small, subtle differences, whether it's a double die or a misstrike, that can turn a relatively common coin into something extraordinary. In fact, error coins like these can sell for a premium, often far exceeding their face value. So, what's the value of the 1988 dime, particularly the error versions? That's where things get even more interesting. You see, the value of a coin is not just determined by its condition or its rarity, it's also influenced by the demand among collectors. Coins with minting errors, especially ones as rare as the double die or misstrike versions of the 1988 dime, can be in high demand, which drives up their value. And when you combine this demand with the fact that 1988 dimes were minted in large quantities, you start to see why the rare versions of this coin are so highly sought after. The 1988 dime, in excellent condition or with one of these minting errors, can fetch a pretty penny at auctions and from private collectors. But there's one particular version of the 1988 dime that has captured the attention of the numismatic community, and that's the one that has been certified by professional grading services like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. These coins have been carefully examined, graded, and certified to be in mint state, and they are often sold at auction for eye-popping prices. In fact, a rare 1988 dime with a minting error in mint state has been known to sell for as much as $132,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $132,000 for a single dime. When you think about it, that's pretty remarkable for a coin that was originally worth just 10 cents. But the rarity of these error coins, coupled with their high demand among collectors, can make them worth far more than their face value, and that's the thing about coin collecting. What might seem like a simple dime to most people can, in the right conditions, become a valuable asset for collectors. It's not just about the money, it's about the history, the rarity, and the thrill of discovering something special. So, the next time you're going through your spare change, take a moment to examine your dimes. You might just have a hidden treasure on your hands. In the world of numismatics, the 1988 US dime serves as a perfect example of how a seemingly ordinary coin can transform into something extraordinary. With the right combination of condition, rarity, and demand, even the smallest pieces of currency can hold incredible value. So, what's the takeaway from all this? Simple: never underestimate the power of a coin. It's not just a piece of metal, it's a piece of history, a potential treasure waiting to be discovered. Who knows? You might just find a 1988 dime that could change your life, and there it is, the 1988 US 1 dime, a coin that started out as just another piece of currency, now worth as much as $132,000 in the right condition. It's a testament to the fascinating world of coin collecting and the hidden treasures that might be waiting right under our noses. It's 1996. The world is on the verge of a new millennium, and there's a palpable sense of anticipation in the air. While people are focusing on the big changes, advances in technology, the rise of the internet, and the approaching turn of the century, the world of numismatics, or coin collecting, is quietly undergoing its own fascinating transformations. Among the coins produced in this pivotal year is one that would catch the attention of collectors and investors alike: the 1996 US 1 dime. At first glance, the 1996 dime might seem like just another coin. After all, it has the same familiar design that has been gracing the front of dimes since 1946, a portrait of Franklin D. Roosevelt, the 32nd President of the United States. Roosevelt, who served during the Great Depression and World War II, was commemorated on the dime after his death as a tribute to his leadership and service. The coin's reverse features the classic torch, olive branch, and oak branch, a design symbolizing liberty, peace, and strength, respectively. This was created by John R. Sinek, the U.S. Mint's chief engraver, and it has been a hallmark of the dime for decades. It's a design that represents more than just a coin, it represents the enduring values of the nation. But while the 1996 dime shares the same design as its predecessors, there's much more to this seemingly ordinary coin than meets the eye. Let's dive into its historical context and the changes that were happening in the world of American coinage during the 1990s. The 1990s were a decade of economic prosperity in the United States. The economy was strong, and the country had emerged from the economic uncertainty of the late 1980s and early 1990s. President Bill Clinton had been elected in 1992, ushering in a new political era. Yet, even with all the political changes, the U.S. Mint was focused on maintaining stability in the country's currency system, ensuring that its coins remained a reliable tool of commerce. Interestingly, 1996 was a year of significant milestones for U.S. coinage. For one, it marked the 50th anniversary of the Roosevelt dime. The U.S. Mint had first issued the dime in 1946 as a tribute to Roosevelt after his passing in 1945. While the design had remained largely unchanged over the decades, the year 1996 was a reminder of the coin's historical importance. Despite its status as a trusted and enduring symbol of American currency, the 1996 dime was not immune to the larger forces shaping the world of numismatics. In fact, one of the most intriguing aspects of this coin is not the design itself, but the conditions under which it was minted and the rare characteristics that would later make certain 1996 dimes valuable to collectors. The minting process for the 1996 dime was relatively straightforward. Like its predecessors, the dime was produced in two major minting facilities, the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. These two mints produced millions of dimes that year, striking them from a standard composition of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel. The resulting dimes were distributed into circulation across the United States. However, as with all mass-produced coins, not every dime that rolled off the presses in 1996 was identical. Small variations in the manufacturing process, such as die cracks, misalignments, and other imperfections, are what often make certain coins stand out. These errors are what numismatists, or coin collectors, look for, and they can turn an ordinary coin into a valuable rarity. Some of the most sought-after 1996 dimes feature a unique, double die error. This error happens when the coin's die is misaligned during the minting process, resulting in the design being stamped twice, creating a doubled image on the coin. While double die errors are relatively rare, they are highly prized by collectors because they signify a mistake in the production process. A 1996 dime with such an error is much more valuable than a typical coin from the same year, with collectors willing to pay top dollar to own one. Another factor that can increase the value of a 1996 dime is its condition. Coins that are in near-perfect or mint state, meaning they have little to no wear and tear from circulation, are always more valuable than those that have been heavily used. Coins that are well preserved and in excellent condition can fetch far more than their face value, sometimes reaching prices that would shock most casual observers. So, what does this mean for collectors? For those who are savvy enough to know what to look for, the 1996 dime can offer significant rewards. While most of the coins in circulation today are worth no more than their face value, certain 1996 dimes, particularly those with double die errors or those in mint condition, can sell for a hefty sum at auction. This brings us to the exciting part, the value of the 1996 dime today. Over the years, these coins have become highly desirable to collectors, and their value has steadily increased. A well-preserved 1996 dime, particularly one with an error such as the double die strike, can fetch impressive amounts at auction. Some of the most valuable examples of the 1996 dime have been known to sell for as much as $124,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $124,000 for a single dime. That's a remarkable amount for a coin that, when it was first minted, was worth just 10 cents. The combination of rarity, historical significance, and unique minting errors has caused the value of these coins to skyrocket in recent years, with collectors eager to get their hands on any example they can find. So, what does this mean for you, the viewer? It's a reminder that the world of numismatics is full of hidden treasures, and that even the most seemingly mundane coins can hold immense value. The next time you come across a 1996 dime, take a moment to examine it closely. Is there a potential double die error? Is it in pristine condition? If so, you could be holding a small fortune in your hands. For collectors, the 1996 dime represents more than just a piece of currency, it's a symbol of the dynamic and ever-changing world of coin collecting. The pursuit of rare and valuable coins has become a global passion, and with each passing year, coins like the 1996 dime become even more valuable and elusive. In the end, it's a testament to the fascinating world of numismatics and the way that coins, like the 1996 dime, can capture the imagination of collectors for generations to come. And who knows, maybe you'll be the one to discover a hidden gem, a coin that could someday fetch you $124,000. So, the next time you find yourself with a dime in your hand, remember, it's not just 10 cents, it could be a treasure waiting to be uncovered. The year is 2018, and we find ourselves in a rapidly changing world. The tech industry is booming with new innovations, and the social landscape is evolving with the rise of social media influencers and global movements. Yet, amid all this change, the world of coinage, especially the humble dime, remains grounded in tradition. As 2018 unfolds, there's a sense of nostalgia for the classic designs that have adorned US coins for decades. The dime, which has been in circulation for over 200 years, continues to be one of the most iconic pieces of US currency. It's often a coin that gets passed over, slipped into your pocket, exchanged for a cup of coffee, or lost in the bottom of a purse. But in the world of coin collecting, this small 10-cent piece can hold more than just its face value. It can hold history, rarity, and in some cases, immense value. The 2018 US 1-dime coin, though not widely regarded as an immediate standout in its regular production, offers a unique glimpse into the ongoing tradition of American numismatics. The story of this particular coin begins long before 2018, reaching back to 1946, when the Roosevelt dime was first introduced to honor the legacy of President Franklin D. Roosevelt, who had passed away the year before. Roosevelt's image, designed by artist John R. Sinnock, has graced the obverse, front, of the dime ever since. The reverse design, meanwhile, has remained consistent, featuring a torch, olive branch, and oak branch. The symbolism behind these elements represents liberty, the torch, peace, the olive branch, and strength, the oak branch, ideals that have been central to the American ethos for centuries. This timeless design has seen various versions of the dime come and go, but the essence has remained the same. By 2018, the dime was in its familiar form, still bearing Roosevelt's likeness. But while this design had been in use for decades, changes in the way coins were struck, as well as the occasional minting error, meant that the 2018 dime had its own unique place in the world of coin collecting. Let's look at the 2018 dime from a minting perspective. The U.S. Mint produces coins in large quantities, and the dimes of 2018 were no exception. Minted primarily at the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint, millions of these dimes were distributed across the country. Most of the 2018 dimes circulated freely, passing through cash registers, vending machines, and the hands of everyday Americans. These coins were produced using the same copper-nickel alloy composition as previous dimes, 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel. This gave the coin its familiar silver-gray appearance and ensured it would stand the test of time, just like its predecessors. While the vast majority of 2018 dimes entered circulation without much fanfare, for collectors, the story doesn't end with mass production. The value of a coin is determined by several key factors: rarity, condition, and sometimes, error. Collectors are always on the lookout for coins that are rare due to minting mistakes, things like double die strikes, misalignments, or off-center prints. These imperfections can elevate a coin from ordinary to extraordinary, sometimes making it worth many times its face value. One of the main draws for collectors in the world of modern U.S. coins is the presence of such errors. Even in 2018, despite the advanced technology used to strike coins, small but fascinating errors occasionally slipped through the cracks. These errors are what make certain coins from that year stand out. For the 2018 dime, one of the errors that caught the eye of collectors was the off-center strike. Off-center coins occur when the coin blank is not properly aligned during the striking process, leaving part of the design missing or off to one side. While off-center coins are not incredibly rare, they are certainly not common, and an off-center 2018 dime can be quite valuable to the right collector. These errors are highly prized because they reflect the imperfections of the minting process, which make them unique among the many identical coins produced. Another potential factor that could increase the value of the 2018 dime is its condition. Coins that are in pristine condition, or in mint state, are always more desirable to collectors. Dimes that show little to no wear from circulation are much rarer than those that have been through many hands and come out the other side with scratches, scuffs, and discoloration. Mint state coins are often graded by professional services such as the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, with high-grade coins being valued at much higher prices than those in lower grades. So, what makes a 2018 dime truly valuable? While the majority of 2018 dimes are worth only their face value, there's something particularly intriguing about certain coins with unique characteristics. A high-grade, well-preserved 2018 dime, particularly one with a minting error like the off-center strike, can be worth far more than its original 10-cent face value. And here's the real surprise: some of these rare 2018 dimes have been known to sell for a staggering amount at auctions. Due to the rarity of minting errors, the value of these coins has steadily increased over time. One such coin, a pristine 2018 dime with an off-center strike, was sold at auction for an eye-popping $112,000. Yes, you heard that right, $112,000 for a single dime that originally had a face value of just 10 cents. To put that into perspective, $112,000 is enough to buy a brand new car, pay off student loans, or even invest in a small house. And all that money came from a coin that, at first glance, might seem like just another dime in your pocket. But in the world of coin collecting, small details like an off-center strike or an immaculate condition coin can make all the difference in the world. For collectors, this serves as a powerful reminder of the potential treasures that can be hidden in plain sight. The 2018 dime might not be as famous as some of the older, rarer coins in American history, but it still holds immense value for those who know where to look. Whether you're an experienced numismatist or a newcomer to the world of coin collecting, coins like the 2018 dime remind us that there's more to a coin than just its face value. As we conclude this journey through the fascinating world of the 2018 US dime, we are reminded of the lasting power of these seemingly small pieces of currency. While the world around us changes, coins like the dime continue to be a part of our daily lives. And who knows? The next time you reach into your pocket and pull out a dime, you might just be holding a rare gem worth far more than its 10-cent face value. The story of the 2018 dime is a testament to the enduring appeal of coin collecting, and the excitement that comes with discovering hidden treasures. So, the next time you find a 2018 dime, remember, it might be worth a whole lot more than you think.